Hello, Math 2 7th graders. This is week June 1st, and so we're doing some review from Unit 1 and Unit 2. And so I'm going to flip it around here. So I'd like you to take your paper, here, I'll back off here, and cut it in half, and then into thirds. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. I'm going to give you 6 pairs of numbers. Like number 1, I'm going to give you -8 and 4, and I want you to add those, subtract those, multiply those, divide those. All right, so you can hit pause and get that down. Number 2, I'm going to give you -24 and -6. I want you to add those, subtract those, multiply those, divide those. Number 3, -5/8 and 2/8. I want you to add those, subtract, multiply, divide. Then -3/4 and -1/3. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. 6 and -1.2. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And -8 and -3 and 1/4. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So hit pause so you can get these copied down. And I'm going to go ahead and start working these out. But you hit pause and make sure you do them yourself here, okay? So if I go 8 to the left and 4 to the right, I end up at -4 if I'm thinking, the arrow. If I go 8 to the left and 4 more to the left, I end up 12 to the left, -12. And then multiplying, dividing, and the signs are different, the answer is going to be negative. Multiplying, dividing, the signs are different, the answer is going to be negative. Number 2. So -24 plus -6. If I go 24 to the left and 6 more to the left, I went 30 to the left. -24 minus -6. And this double negative becomes a big fat plus, so I'm going to rewrite that. That's -24 plus 6. So if I went 24 to the left, and then I went 6 to the right, I end up at -18. Or if it's -24 degrees and it goes up 6 degrees, it's going to be -18 degrees. And then -24 times -6. Well, multiplying, dividing, and the signs are the same here, so it's going to be positive. So 24, carry the 2, 12 plus 2 is 14. So you get 144. Then -24 divided by -6. Multiplying, dividing, signs are the same, your answer is positive. Number 3, -5/8 plus just 2/8, sorry. Well, you have common denominators already, so if I go 5 to the left and then 2 to the right on a number line, I end up at -3, so this is just going to be -3/8. All you have to worry about is the numerators. Then -5/8 minus 2/8. If I go 5 to the left and 2 more to the left, I ended up going 7 to the left, so it's just going to be -7/8. -5/8 times 2/8, I'll use parentheses here. I can reduce this, this reduces to 1/4, or you could have cross canceled, either way. Multiplying, dividing, and the signs are different, your answer is going to be -5/32. Then -5/8 divided by 2/8. You never divide fractions. You're going to flip the one on the right, and the fancy word for flip is reciprocal. I do the reciprocal of the one on the right. And then I always look to do my dividing, and I call it the bow tie. I'm going to ask these 4 division questions. Can I divide, can I divide, can I divide, can I divide, when I'm multiplying or dividing, or when I get to the multiplying place. Well, here 8 divided by 8 is gone. That's just 1/1. And then when you multiply horizontally. That's how you multiply. So multiplying, dividing, and the signs are different. The answer is negative. 5 times 1 is 5, and 1 times 2 is 2. And so that's going to be negative 2 and a half. Because 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So this is review. Number 4. So now you have fractions that don't have common denominators, and so you have to rewrite these. This is negative 3/4 plus negative 1/3. Well, your common denominator is going to be 12. That was times 3, so times 3. That's negative 9/12. And this is times 4, so times 4, so that's negative 4/12. And when I add those, 9 to the left and 4 more to the left is 13 to the left. And that's going to be a little over negative 1. Negative 1, the 12 stays 12. 12 times 1 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So that's negative 1 and 1/12. I'm not going to start all over. This is just going to be negative 9/12 minus negative 4/12, which is going to be negative 9/12 plus 4/12 because of the double negative. 9 to the left and 4 to the right, you end up at negative 5/12. And then multiplying. Negative 3/4 times negative 1/3. Again, you want to ask these 4 division questions first. I call it the bow tie. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. That just becomes a 1. That becomes a 1. Now I multiply horizontally. Oh, multiplying and dividing, and the signs are the same. Your answer is positive. 1 times 1 is 1. And 4 times 1 is 4. Your answer is 1/4. And then dividing. Negative 3/4 divided by negative 1/3 becomes negative 3/4 times negative 3/1. And I ask my bow tie question, can I divide? No. Can I divide? No. Can I divide? No. Can I divide? No. I can't do any dividing, so now I'm just going to multiply horizontally. Multiplying, dividing, and the signs are the same. Your answer is positive. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 1 is 4. If this was 8, divided by 4 is 2. The 4 stays 4. This is 2 and 1/4, because 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. There's your answer. And then down here, 6 plus negative 1.2, which is the same thing as just 6 minus 1.2. So 6.0 minus 1.2, you get 4.8. And just double checking, those add up to 6. And then 6 minus negative 1.2 would be 6 plus 1.2. And so you get 6.0 plus 1.2. Well, that's 7.2. And then 6 times negative 1.2. I'm going to multiply and dividing, and the signs are different. The answer is going to be negative. I'm going to put the 1.2 on top. Times 6, 12. Carry the 1, that's 7. And 1 decimal to the right, so 1 to the right. So your answer is going to be negative 7.2. And then 6 divided by negative 1.2. Well, the 6 goes inside, the negative 1.2 goes outside. I have to move this 1, so I have to move this 1. So really, this is just 60 divided by negative 12. Multiplying and dividing signs are different. Answer is negative. And 5 times 12 is 60. So your answer is negative 5. And number 6. Negative 8 plus negative 3 1/4. If I go 8 to the left and then 3 1/4 to the left, I went negative 11 1/4. I went negative 11 1/4 to the left. I went 11 1/4 to the left. Left and left is more left. And then negative 8 minus negative 3 1/4. Well, that's going to be negative 8 plus 3 1/4. So now if I go 8 to the left and then 3 to the right, I end up at -5. But when I go another quarter, I end up at -4 3/4. Because that up to 7 and that up to 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. Forget the signs. These should add up to 8. And then -8 times -3 1/4. Well, I'm just going to make them both fractions. And multiplying and dividing, the signs are the same, your answer is positive, so I'm not going to worry about the signs. This is just 8/1 times 12 plus 1 is 13/4. And I'm going to ask my do my bow tie, ask my 4 division questions. And here, 8 divided by 4, I can divide both those by 4, that's a 2 and that's a 1. And now I just get to multiply horizontally. 2 times 13 is 26 over 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is just 26. And remember, because multiplying and dividing signs are the same, your answer is positive. Last one here. -8 divided by -3 1/4. Again, multiplying and dividing signs are the same, your answer is positive. This is 8/1 divided by 13/4, which is 8/1 times 4/13. Can't do any bow tie. That's 32/13. The 13 stays 13. 2 times 13 is 26. 26 plus 6 is 32. So there's my answer. So there you go. Hope you did a good job.